right into it. All right, here we go for the tube. Say hi, tube.
What up, tube? Actually, that's how we start now.
No. I got Audacity on this one, remember?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
yeah. So let me just rescan audio devices and for the pod. Y'all ready?
Let's do it.
Let's rock and roll it. Here we go in 3, 2, and 1.
Welcome to another episode of
Business Bros.
What up, ladies and gentlemen? SHIT. So happy it's Thursday.
So happy.
Hernan C.S. here, host of the Business Bros podcast, along with my co-host,
The insurance bro, James C.S. with Pipeline Insurance. And as always, we have another fun-filled show for you today. In fact, today's is extra special. You want to know why?
Why?
Because we've been collecting shoes for the homeless this year, and thanks to our listeners, we are just 3 pairs away from reaching our goal of 365. In that spirit, we're proud to announce that we have found a fantastic organization where to send them. Today's guests are coming to us from a long-standing San Diego charity. This organization has held true to its roots and remains a personable and humble local charity helping at-risk youth in San Diego since 1986. Having served a combined 38 years from Care House, please welcome Phil Duncan and Rachel Demler. Thank you both so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Man, 38 combined years.
I know, it makes me sound old, right?
Thanks, dude.
Man. It is what it is. Nobody knows exactly how it all splits
It's
out.
okay, nobody does
whatever.
math. Nobody does math.
Yeah, it's fine.
I can't math. All right, before we get into this conversation, ladies and gents, I got to remind you guys, we're still raising shoes. So I know we only need 3, but if you got new shoes, or you want to donate cash, we can always raise more than 365. That's always been a nice part of helping out people. We can raise more. So hit James up 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com. He'll ride over in his Harley and pick up those shoes. Give you an Instagram story, keep you anonymous. Completely up to you. By the way, the guy's in the insurance business. So if you need home, auto, commercial, life, or maybe you want to add insurance into your business, maybe you have a tax office or a mortgage office, something like that, we do the heavy lifting for you. We just want to put you in a position where we can cut you a check. If you want to know how, you got to hit up James 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com. Show sponsor for today is dronequote.net. It is sunny outside, so make sure you guys go to dronequote.net/business bros to start buying solar right there. Don't wait for somebody to knock on your door, sit through a bunch of presentations. dronequote.net/business bros. They'll come out with a drone, take the measurements of your rooftop, send it to the roofing companies and the solar companies. You sit back, look at all the companies, drop quotes in your inbox, pick the one that works for you. Easy peasy. dronequote.net/business bros. Woo!
Easy breezy, beautiful. dronequote.net/business bros.
There you go. All right, guys. I want to know a little bit about you guys individually and how you got into the business. So I'm going to start with Phil. How did you get into this whole organization?
So about 15 years ago, Care House had come to a church that I went to at that time and had a presentation, and they call it like a missions fair. Mm-hmm. So I walked up to the booth, and I come from a broken family, single mother, raised 3 boys, and the ministry that they were serving was, homeless, at-risk youth and families with single mothers. Those kids just tend to not have all the support that they need, and it just resonated. And one of my friends, a guy named Wes, and I just said, "Hey, let's do something. Like we're just not doing anything with our lives on our free time." And we went to the Care House organization and met a bunch of the kids there, and I just fell in love with the mission that they were on, which is to really engage our community, and engage in San Diego, and not from a we're here to help you, but actually serving them with the needs that they had, like helping them with food and with clothes and with backpacks, and just like taking them to places like Disneyland. And they've done cool things like take some kids to Poland that they would never go, and recently we've taken them to Hawaii and just done things,
life experiences that they wouldn't otherwise have had just because of the cards they were dealt.
Exactly. And that really, in my life, I was fortunate to have people that gave me hope and gave me a role model and invested in me, and that is what allowed me to become who I am. You know, I'm a business owner. I now employ people. I try to serve the community. I try to make money to take care of people and donate when I can and serve when I can. So that's really...
Isn't it funny how, like, you know, we live in a world where there's a facade of who we are that we see online, right? But there's also that same facade if you just people watch. Like, you see somebody and you kind of have this impression, this judgment that you have in your head, good, bad, indifferent, doesn't matter what it is. But you see somebody and you don't actually know what goes on in their life. You know what I mean? Yeah. You might see the receptionist at the front desk and she's, you know, helping greet you or whatever. You don't know that, you know, maybe she's going through a divorce, or, you know, you see this kid walking up and you don't know that he hasn't eaten in 24 hours, or, you know, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes of people's lives. And it's really awesome to know and meet people that are going and helping these people move through those difficulties. That, you know, you're there not just in the front, like, just, you know, not just the facade part, but actually digging deep and helping them, like, build that little bit of confidence, giving them the opportunity to not follow in the footsteps that they were put into, to, like, literally steer them in a new direction and give them an opportunity to better their lives. Yeah,
that's a part of one of the opportunities they give is certain kids we come across qualify for a scholarship. So some of them might be stuck in a bad performing school, and we're able to we have a partnership with the Rock Academy, and they give them like a full ride to have a different education opportunity that they would never have received otherwise.
Well, speaking of the cards you were dealt, Rachel, tell me a little bit about your experience with the foundation. I mean, yours is a little bit different. Phil kind of walked in and decided he wants to, you know, change lives. Your life was changed.
Okay, so I got involved with Care House. My mom took over when I was about 8 years old. So I'm 31 now. So it's been a part of my life for a long time, and I've, through different phases of my life, I've either been a volunteer or a board member or an employee. A little bit of my mom's story, how she got into it, was my dad had passed away when I was really young, and my mom felt like we were really fortunate to have been provided for after his death. It was really sudden. And so that was a little bit of her passion in getting involved with ministry through her church at the time. And just things unraveled. She ended up getting connections to, I think, interview for her position as the director for Care House. And that was a little of her passion behind that. So inevitably, my older brother and I were exposed to a lot of Care House's beginnings, and it just truly became a part of, you know, our life. I think for my mom in ministry, it's a 24/7 job. You know, many people would say that, and so a lot of the kids that we have worked with over the years through Care House have become, you know, literally we would refer to them as family members. And for myself, for a while there, I was the same age as a lot of the kids that were a part of our programs, and so those truly became my very best friends still. So
tell me a little bit about, like, going through that life. Like, I'll give you an example. My mom is like one of those saints also. Like, I mean, she runs what's it called, Ham?
Food bank.
Food bank. There you go. So she runs a food bank over in LA.
Cool.
Since we were kids, she's been part of, like, Red Cross. She would go and do disaster relief. Like, she will, like, she'll cancel on coming to visit us on a weekend because she's doing, you know, food for a giant wedding for people who, you know, they can't really afford to do stuff, but she'll make all the food, buy all the stuff, get it all done. Like, my mom just does, like, that's what she does, right? Yeah. So I always talk about her in the sense that, like, when she passes away, I better have a good budget put away, because there's gonna be like 10,000 people at her funeral because of the number of people that she helps all the time, right?
Yeah.
So growing up in that life for us gave us a different perspective. We were always, as kids, crossing the border, going to Mexico, taking shoes, taking clothes, taking food, and you see a completely different lifestyle. You see kids that are your age or even younger struggling to do things like eat, to bathe, to just the bare necessities. And so it gives you a perspective of, you know, like, I am truly blessed where I'm at. Like, I actually have it, you know, good. Even though we were from very humble beginnings, my parents didn't make a lot of money, but they always, you know, they made sure we had rice, beans, and tortillas, like, all the time. So it's not like we starved, but we also weren't like extravagant, and we were okay with that. We knew what we had was a lot better than what other people were, cards were dealt.
Yeah.
You know, for us, it was like on and off, right? It was like, we'd go do something, we'd come back, and then we'd be in, normal world, whatever. You kind of had to live it every single day.
Yeah.
So how does that kind of rub off on you? Like, what kind of person are you today? And, or, what are some of the positives and negatives you've had through that?
Whoa, deep question. I think so I've got two brothers. I have an older brother and a younger brother. I think our experiences have all been different. I think for myself, overall, having that sort of life, really, was something that I really enjoyed. There were definitely negatives, for sure, because Care House is, again, it's more of a mom and pop style. So my mom runs it all day, every day. And so with that, there's not a ton of space, really. She doesn't get vacation days or things like that. You know what I mean? So with that, I would say it takes a lot out of the family as a whole. It's a huge commitment for everybody that's involved. On the upside, I think for me, it did inform me in a way of showing me how to be grateful for what I had. I think on the flip side of that, or maybe, extension of that, is you get the opportunity to work with kids. San Diego has a huge homeless population, and it's only growing. And because Care House is, essentially run by people that, for the most part, are born and raised and from here. So the cause is very near and dear to their hearts. And we, especially, I think I speak for everyone on the board, like, we get the honor of getting to meet kids and just engage with them, look them square in the eyes and say, like, you can do what you want to do. Yeah. Like, you are not limited by your circumstances. You are not limited by what you don't have. We will empower you and encourage you and just love you to help you get to the place that you want to go. And it's really, sometimes that sounds kind of corny or really basic, but truly it's our call and something that we're really passionate about.
It's one of the basic human necessities, though.
Yeah.
To be accepted, to be loved. Like, if you don't have that, you'd be surprised how deprived people get in their lives. They go really dark really fast when you don't have that.
For sure, yeah. So you can see kids, like, truly, it's on, on a more heartbreaking side, we've come across kids who you can see they're 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and they've lost that light in their eyes. I mean, I don't know how else to describe that. And when you get to have the position of just engaging with them and meeting with them weekly or monthly and telling them that they're amazing, that they can do it. They don't hear that all the time for whatever reason, so we get that honor.
So tell me a little bit about with this shoe drive. So, our paths crossed. I mean, I've known this guy over here for quite a few years, but in a completely different space. And it just happened that, we're kind of going along the same path in the same direction. What prompted the shoe drive, and what kind of stuff do you guys do to help the foundation?
So we each, I'll start off and then let you take off with it. But each one of us board members, our responsibility is to run a fundraiser. So there's 10 of us board members, and it equals out to about one a month that we end up doing. And Rachel came up with this one for I'll let her speak to how the shoes will get distributed and how it benefits the organizations and ultimately the kids. But this was what was cool is she mentioned it one night, and then James and I were talking 2 days later, and I was like, hey man, I posted something. This is like one of the rare times when social media does what it's supposed to do. So I posted this picture of like, hey, we're doing this. If anybody's got shoes, reach out to me. And James is like, dude, I got all these shoes. I don't know what to do with them. Like, we've just been collecting them for no reason. So, and this was
no reason.
No, we had a reason. We just didn't know where we were going to take them.
That's what I mean. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
Because we like shoes. Though. I wanted to fill my garage full of shoes. That's what I wanted to
do. My bad. But no plates. Yes. They were like, okay, we're going to do this. We have a mission, but you don't really know what the end result was going to be. And it was like, hey, I need shoes. Hey, I got shoes. Let's get married.
That's right.
That was pretty cool. So this is a pretty unique opportunity because, and I'll let Rachel speak to it, we've been able to partner up with an organization who's going to help us get these shoes into a lot of people's hands. And they have an amazing infrastructure to do this on a global scale. And then from what we're doing is going to directly benefit us. And I'll let you kind of speak to how this works.
Will you?
Yeah.
Will you?
Yeah. We were talking about logistical nightmares, and what they're doing with the shoes is going to solve the distribution of it. I want to make something kind of evident that many people don't know of. There's two faces to homelessness and at-risk youth, and what you see on the streets is not like that's not the homeless community that we directly serve. Like the person panhandling, the potential whatever it might be, that you might see someone aggressive or some person you might label as homeless. They are definitely homeless, and there's some issues in there, but we're working with families that you would never even know.
Mm-hmm.
You have no clue that they're sleeping in a hotel. You have no clue that they don't have food in their, any food, that they're going from organization to organization just to get clothes to wear. But we interact. We've been able to find our way to this underground community that's nobody knows. They're unseen, they're unheard of, and they're not the ones that are vocal, that are out there asking for something. These are people that are afraid. They're in the shadows, and they're embarrassed of the situation they are. And we've been able to just meet them and deliver the need that they have. Some things like a toy drive are awesome, and all this great other things you might well intended, but that's not what their real need is. They might just need a turkey for dinner because they don't have a turkey dinner. But I just want to make that distinction of who the community, that everybody that thank you so much for 360 pairs of shoes. Rachel was getting
desperate?
Yeah, she was getting desperate.
Angry.
and because there was
Sad.
So this just really, you just totally just flipped the script in what we were doing. We have, I think, and I'll let you speak to it from here. I'm gonna shut up now.
All good.
Yeah.
Good point.
So how'd you decide to go with shoes?
Well, as Phil said, all the board members for Care House are responsible for leading a fundraiser, and I was trying to think of something that was not going to cost anybody money, that would just raise money. I thought it would be kind of a cool spin. And so the premise of the shoe drive, I was just Googling fundraisers for nonprofits that were cost effective. And there's an organization, a for-profit organization in Florida called Funds to Orgs. And they partner with different nonprofits to help them run various fundraisers. This one in particular, I think is one of their most successful. And so basically what we've learned from them, and now what we're asking people to do is, we're just asking, are you looking for maybe a free way to make a difference in the lives of San Diego's homeless youth? And they're like, maybe, why? And we're just like, clean out your closet, look for gently used, or, some people want to buy new shoes, and we obviously we wouldn't turn that away. We have a goal of 100 bags to fill of 25 pairs of shoes each in 2 months. So that's kind of a lot to do in 2 months. And so far we've done really well, but there was definitely about a 2-week period where I was really worried that we were just not going to hit the mark. And so really stoked to be here. I think what Funds to Orgs does with the shoes, when Phil mentioned that they make a global impact, they take the shoes that we turn in, they write us a check based on how much we have raised.
Collected, yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And it's all by weight. So baby shoes are cool, but heavy Marine Corps boots are really great too, because those are heavier. And so they donate to us financially, and then they send the shoes to different countries all over the world to people who can give the shoes a second life. And so that's part of the reason why we want to make sure the shoes we're getting are respectful of whoever is going to be receiving them.
That's awesome. Yeah, because we've collected a lot of different types of shoes.
That's cool.
Our initial pitch for everybody wasn't clear enough, I guess. And so we got things like high heels and all kinds of different types of shoes, but we're like, well, we're kind of looking for shoes that people are going to walk around in. Because James, you want to share your story? Because this is how it actually started, was through that through James's experience.
Sure. I was just walking through Balboa Park one day, and I came across somebody who was homeless and was just crying. I didn't really know why, and she just kind of pointed down at her bare feet. And I live like 2 blocks from Balboa Park, so I was like, I have another pair of shoes at home. I don't need these, so here you go.
Wow.
Awesome.
And yeah, she just kind of stopped crying. That made her day. She was happy, and she was a little bit kooky, a little bit crazy, but whatever. I would be too, probably, if I was living out in the streets, But yeah, she took the shoes, and that was that.
Wow.
And basically, yeah, I came home, or I came here for the podcast that night, and I said, I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna collect shoes for the homeless.
That's
Whoa.
so awesome.
And boom.
So
That's
That-
cool.
My first experience into charitable contributions was shoes, similar to like your mom. We would collect clothes here in the U.S. and then we'd take them down to Ensenada, and we would distribute them. And what would happen almost every time is there would be a family. We'd give all the clothes out, and another family would show up, and they would have no shoes and no clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom would literally make all 3 of us brothers take off all of our clothes and our shoes, and we'd have to give those away. And we would be sitting in the back of the VW
In your underwear.
in our underwear.
That's got to be weird when you cross the border back.
I was about to say, you cross the border that way?
Yeah, we did.
Then you go to immigration. Ma'am,
Yeah, she would
why do you have these 3 boys in their underwear?
She's like, well, I gave all their clothes away to people in need, and they're like, you're a better person than me.
Right.
Come
Come
on
on through. Welcome back. No, I mean, but each of us is affected by these types of different stories, right? It's the reason why we end up doing whatever it is that we're going to do, helping whoever we're going to help.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just glad that we crossed paths. I
Totally.
mean, there's another organization that's local here. It's all about the kids. And we've been talking about them. They do meals for homeless families also, or
Oh,
well,
wow.
just for mainly it's all about the kids, but you got those families like you were talking about that just need that meal. They need to have the food to cook, maybe, and the thing is, you just don't know the situation. I mean, you got to really kind of put yourself in the mindset and understand that there's a perspective that goes on. I've always heard this story, and I like to share it from time to time, where you imagine yourself, you're sitting on the bus. The bus stops, guy comes in with like 5 kids, and you're just trying to relax on the bus, and these kids are going crazy, and they're jumping around all the seats, right? Jumping, knocking your stuff over, and you're kind of getting annoyed. You look over at the guy and you're like, hey, you're gonna control these kids? And the guy kind of just snaps out of a daze, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, we just left the hospital, their mom died. I don't know how to tell them. Like, the mind shift that you have at that very moment, all of a sudden, these little irritating brats, like, you don't think of them as irritating kids anymore. Like, now all of a sudden, you have that compassion, you have that empathy, you feel like, what can I do for you? Yeah. You know what I mean? You don't know what's going on in people's situations. It could be perfect, and then in the blink of an eye, like, life changes.
Yeah.
And so, just having that perspective and whatever you can do. Some people are very uncomfortable with being in that situation and helping, but are really okay with contributing, and that's okay too. So and that's one of those things we speak out to our audience all the time, that one of the main points of our show is to be of service to others. And I don't know what that means for you, right? I don't know what that means for each individual person, but you know what it means to you. You know what it means to be of service in the way that you can be of service to somebody else, and it is super life-changing. Like, you change as an individual. We're talking about becoming better versions of ourselves. The only way I believe that really happens is by going out and helping your fellow man, whatever way it's going to be for you. Just open your heart to do that, and I promise you, your life is going to be completely different. It's one of the most selfish things you can do, honestly, because it feels so right? You just want to keep doing it. It's weird how that works, but it's I don't know what you call it, karma, the secret. I don't know what it is, but find a way to help in any possible way you can. So I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad we found a home for our shoes, because it's gonna make a big difference in my garage. But we're not gonna stop the shoe count. So this is a perfect time to remind our audience, 365 pairs of shoes was our goal for the year. We're going to hit that no problem. But we want to continue to raise shoes because there's people who are going to need it all over the world. There's people who are going to need it here in San Diego. And seeing as we have new partners, now we have a way to distribute these things. So I don't mind using my garage as a temporary storage space as long as we can use these things, for other people who actually need them. My garage doesn't need them, but we found a home for them. So,
thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Yep.
Thank you.
Of course.
Are you going to be continuing to collect shoes throughout the year? Or is this just like, are you guys going to have a stop date?
Yeah, so our stop date is December 15th. And so we'll have run the shoe drive for 2 months.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, ladies and gents, you guys, thank you guys for coming on the show.
Thank
for
you.
having
Really
us.
appreciate you guys' time coming out.
Thank you.
Plus, you guys can't see, but Rachel has this really awesome skirt on. She sparkles like as soon as she came out of the car. I was like, whoa, rock star status.
Yep.
All right, ladies and gents, again, we're still collecting shoes. So if you guys got new shoes, used shoes, or you want to donate cash, hit James up 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com. He's also in insurance. So if you guys need to get your home, life, auto, whatever it is you need, or maybe you want to add insurance into your business, we do the heavy lifting for you, but you got to call James to get started. 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com. DroneQuote.net is our show sponsor. DroneQuote.net. Go to DroneQuote.net/business bros and start the solar buying process there. You don't know where to go. Don't have to worry about Googling it. That's where you start. DroneQuote.net/business bros. Turn that sun ray into some dollars. All right, ladies and gents. Tomorrow, Friday, just a reminder, we're going to be filming my next parody video, Fish Tacos. So keep an eye out. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you guys can see it when it first comes out. Laugh at me, but share it. I appreciate it. All right, guys, that's all we got for you guys today. For now, we got a second show coming later on. So tune in.
4 o'clock.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
And we're out.
Sweet. Thanks, brother.
All right.
We
Thanks,
didn't even
Facebook.
say what Care House did we?
Yeah, I think we did.
I was like,
Yeah.
You're
At
like,
risk
yeah.
youth in the beginning.